Hello viewers, I'm your host Quazar, and today I will be going over the most huggable tunes in the entirety of Dandy's World. Why would I do this? Because A, it's never been done before, and B, Goob. So, let's start with the man himself, Goob. Now, how can I put Goob anywhere but S tier? Let's go ahead and go over the very obvious. Goob is known as the fluffy craft. Keyword here is fluffy, like a dog or a stuffed animal. That is very huggable. He has to go in S tier. It just makes sense. Now, another tune you would assume to be an S tier is Scraps. Now, you would assume she would get an S tier simply because she's a cat, but she is an origami cat. Not just a cat, but a cat made of paper. And she still has the claws of a cat, the worst part of hugging said cat. So, not only would you get hurt by the claws, but you could crumble her because she is paper, and even worse, you could end up getting a paper cut. Well, maybe not worse, but that is the first possible casualty on this list. Now, she would get F tier, but things get much, much worse. Anyway, let's get back on track. I totally messed up that line. We're gonna get back on track with Boxton. I don't know about you, but I have a very large history of banging my heads on heads. Yes, I have two heads. Banging my heads on sharp corners and drawing blood. Boxton has sharp corners, and have you ever hugged someone that had an earbud in? That's what this would be like. You would just constantly hear music while hugging him. So, also not the worst thing here, which is why Boxton is getting a C tier. You may draw blood, but that's like the worst that could happen. Am I allowed to say blood on YouTube? I don't care. Blood, 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 blood. Okay, now our next tune is Poppy. Now, unlike Boxton, I'm not scared for my own safety here. I'm scared for Poppy's because she is Poppy. Poppy. Pop. Keyword pop. She'll pop. And like, imagine going up to hug your friend and then they just explode all over you. That'd be very traumatizing. Yeah. C tier. This, you know what? No, I'll give this D tier. But like this, still not the worst. It's really bad that this is not the worst. On to Toodles. Now, some of you may know this. I don't like Toodles. So instead of hugging her, I will be calculating how far I could kick Toodles. Okay, after checking my house, it turns out we have no balls I can kick. So instead, I found a Reddit study that says a professional football kicker could kick a chihuahua 45 feet. So we'll say we can kick Toodles 30 feet. She gets Toodles tier. Now let's go on to Tisha. One thing that's kind of common is if you meet someone like for the first time in 3 years and you haven't seen them, then you'll most likely cry while hugging them, which could make the tissues in her head very useful. But her head is also a box, specifically a cardboard box. So, uh, cardboard is very easy to accidentally squish with your head. I should know. It happens very often. In fact, why is there cardboard in my bed? Anyway, worst case scenario, you give her brain damage. B tier. So now we have Roger, and no matter which way you go about this, it won't work well thanks to that giant handle sticking out of his head. So either you get a good bonking or you have an awkward hug. Not good either way. Definitely not the worst. I'll give it D tier. Now we're going on to It's not just a JPEG this time. Okay, we're good now. Now we're going on to Connie. Let me put up a headphone warning, actually. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, Connie. So, you can't. She's a ghost. This doesn't work, but if it did, I am 100% sure she would not only find a way to hurt you, prank you. I'm just scared for my safety with this one. I'll give it D tier. You know what? No, I'll give it C tier. It's not the worst. And sorry about that clicking noise. I have a pin in my hand for some reason. Now on to Louis. Yes, he's T-posing. I really like that footage simply because of that reason. Now, uh, Louis has the same issue as Poppy, except when he pops, it explodes. So, like how Poppy just got a solid C tier, Louis will either be low C tier or high D tier. I do believe that he will be a bit harder to pop, but you are going to hear the pop. Like, it will hurt your ears, especially if you're in hugging range. Is hugging range a term? Okay, now on to our next one. Remember how I said it would get worse? Yeah, this is only like the tip of the iceberg. Cosmo. Now, this is an instant F. Why? I hear your thoughts asking, you're asking me this. I hear it because I'm an omnipresent being. He's a cosmic brownie. It's a snack that is real. If you don't know, it's a sugary snack. You probably could tell by the name. And pretty much anything with sugar, even an apple, makes anything that touches it sticky. And I feel like I don't need to explain the F tier here. If Cosmo makes the other hugger stick, like sticky, no. Furthermore, if you hug him too hard, he'll probably just crumble because he's a pastry. So add this to the accidental casualties. I'm pretty sure that is a total of 3 now with Louis, Poppy, and Cosmo. So I had written an entire like section in the script built with a joke and stuff, but that's before I remembered she has a sweater. Sweaters are good for hugs. I'll give this an easy A tier. Yeah, I feel like it's because of the sweater. She has a sweater. Sweaters. I'm just repeating myself now. Okay, on to Flutter. Now, Flutter is a butterfly. I'm pretty sure. Actually, I don't know what butterfly she's modeled after, but she has a monarch butterfly skin, which is awesome. That's one of the best skins of this entire game. But just like Poppy, Louie, and Cosmo, add her to the accidental casualties list because if you've ever hugged a butterfly, you killed it. Yeah, I don't think you could even hug a butterfly. Now, Flutter is obviously bigger, but I still think I would end up injuring her wings, and most likely you would as well. So now on to. Oh, wait, I forgot the tier for her. Uh, A tier. No, no, no. That's what it said in my script. Okay, her tier will be C tier. Now we have Finn. Let me start let me start this by saying that Finn is a cool toon. He's a goofy little guy, but a really bad hugger. Remember how I said that Cosmo was the tip of the iceberg? Well, with Cosmo, at least you smell pastries. Finn is confirmed to smell like fish. He says it himself. That's negative hug points, but it gets even worse. The water drips on you. We see while he's running, the water just like drip off his head, except the water smells like fish. I do not want to be covered in fish water. No. This is an easy F tier, which is sad because Finn is such a cool toon. Hey, I nearly stayed on script the entire segment for that one. Okay, now on to another toon. Shrimpo. I totally messed up that transition. Anyway, we have Shrimpo here, and also an F tier. First of all, this guy has access to sharp pens. Uh, that's terrifying. Also, he wants to hurt pretty much everyone and is confirmed to just straight up not like anyone except himself. So obviously, I don't want this guy anywhere near me, but also, shrimp. He smells like a shrimp. No. And even worse, when shrimp are not in water, they have a slimy texture over their bodies. So that's terrifying to hug. Like, no, no, thank you. But yeah, he would probably try to kill me still. So I not only am placing this in F tier, but I also want a restraining order against this shrimp. Let's go to a better hugger with Brightney. Except I lied. She is not much better, but a bit better because of that light in her head that she very rarely turns off. Even while exploring underground mazes and traps and stuff, aka the floors, uh, she leaves it on, and that's what keeps her stealth so low because she's a literal glowing lamp. But that's likely going to blind you and or burn you because lamps that are constantly on are very, very hot. Now, let's move to something. I mean, I'll go C tier, simply because you're not going to get hurt badly, and you're not going to smell like fish. Let's go to a better note. So now we have Glisten, and I know that when I hug him, he will break because he's fragile, just like his ego. I'll be honest, this joke came out way worse than I thought it would, but I'm still leaving it because it's hilarious. But overall, I'm scared of Glisten fans, so high C tier. So now we have Tegan. Take the worst parts of Finn and change them just a bit. Like, she no longer smells like, she does not smell like fish, unlike Finn. That is great. It smells like tea. However, just like Finn, we often see the tea drip out of her head. Her ability is literally pouring tea out of her head. So, uh, aside from some first degree burns, and yeah, you're pretty solid actually. Yeah, this is a good, not good, but C tier. First degree burns aside, of course. Now we have Razzle and Dazzle. So first things first, Razzle wants you to subscribe, and Dazzle wants you to comment your own opinions on this list. Um, I, I subscribe, please. Okay, yeah. I honestly couldn't come up with something for Razzle and Dazzle, so you tell me. Now let's move on to the mains. Oh, wait, no. It says here in the script that I'm supposed to ask you all to subscribe. I already did that, but please subscribe so I can hit 10,000 before summer starts. Also, if you watch multiple of my videos, you clearly like my content, or you're that one guy that leaves mean comments, and if so, please stop. But if you do like my content, why not subscribe? It will get to you almost as soon as it drops because YouTube will like send you the notification if you want that, and it helps me. So, please subscribe. Now, on to the mains. Now we have Shelly, and for some reason, the video file for this video right here. Oh, my watch just exploded. Okay, the video file for this video right here is for some reason Sprout 2. So I don't know that. But also, I'm not even able to rate Shelly, simply for the reason her head is too big. You cannot hug her because her head is too big. If you tried, you couldn't, because hugs often involve your head on one shoulder, the other person's head on the other shoulder. You can't do that. Her head's too big. That's a compliment. I know there are a lot of Shelly fans, so that's a compliment, okay? Yeah, I have a big head. Sure. Okay, anyway, I just can't rate her, but now let's move on to Sprout. Yet another toon I barely have any idea on where to place. He is quite literally a strawberry. It wouldn't be the worst hug, but it also wouldn't be the best. So I would say somewhere around C tier, maybe low D or low B, not D. But yeah, uh, so this is another reminder to go ahead and comment your own rankings for this. Like, maybe you have completely different rankings than me. That's awesome. I want to see them. I want to see what you guys, as the community that watches my videos, comes up with. So now we have Astro. And at first I was like, okay, it depends on how many hands he has. Because we know his Twisted has 4 hands and his normal version has none. But also there's a dialogue between Tisha that makes it seem like maybe he has hands. Um, he does have, like, you can't see his hands in his model in his normal form. But I was then reminded of his blanket. He has a blanket. Those are great for hugs. So that is an obvious S tier. So now we have Pebble, who is a small dog. And I have some small dogs. They're not in my room. There are 2 of them. They're probably doing something they shouldn't. Probably like tearing up pillows or something. I should go check in on that in a minute. But small dogs, they hug you by jumping on you. Now that's fine, but Pebble is a rock. Uh, so yeah, it would hurt, but he is a dog. I would give it S tier, but He is a rock, so that would hurt a whole lot more. I'm going to have to lower it to B, sadly. Now we have Dandy on this list, and hugging a flower. So first off, he smells like a flower. That's +2 hug points. I'm making up this system as I go. I have no clue what I'm saying half the time. Okay, so obviously he smells like a flower, but he is a flower. He could get hurt from the hug, so maybe add it to the accidental casualties list. But he is Dandy, so I wouldn't be too surprised if he pulled out a pocket knife or was pickpocketing you while hugging you. So you may get hurt, you may lose your wallet. Either way, I'll give it D tier because there were some things that are really bad on this list. Now we have the event tunes, starting with Bobette. At first, I thought it would just be like hugging balls because that's what she was, but then I remembered she's a Christmas ornament, and if you've ever touched one of those, you know they are very fragile, and you know that they hurt a whole lot when they're broken. I do think she would end up just shattering upon contact. So, yeah, this is gonna have to be a D tier, mainly because Shrimpo and Finn exist. Now, on to Cole. So, Cole is like Pebble, a rock dog, but she is coal, so she would leave the charcoal dust all over you. And just like a small dog, big dogs hug people by jumping on them. Uh, so this could be potentially lethal to you, which is very dangerous, but she's a dog. B tier. Now we have Ginger, who, just like Cosmo before her, has frosting. Uh, well, Cosmo doesn't have frosting, but frosting is sticky, and not only that, but there's a really big chance that you're going to be covered in cookie crumbs after this. So, no, it's a bad hug. Uh, I think we'll actually change Cosmo to D tier thanks to the existence of Shrimpo and Finn, and she'll go in D tier with Cosmo. Rudy is up next, and he has the same fur texture as a majority of dogs, which equals obvious S tier. Yeah, I feel like this one makes the most sense along there with Goob. But now I have just 2 tunes left. Now we have V. I don't know why, but my brain just went nope. I'm not thinking of things right now. Okay, we have V, who, once more, I have no clue where to place her. I will leave this one to you guys down below. And lastly, we have the brand new Pinata Tune. However, for some reason the image isn't loading on my computer, and she isn't even out yet. So, I sadly cannot rank this one fairly. But I do have some things to go over real quick. Subscribe, please. Uh, also, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, the music in the background of this video is by my friend at the Bit Maestro. Please check them out. They make tons of 8-bit remixes for lots of different video games and music, like songs and stuff. Okay, with all of that being said, I'm your host, Quazar. Please come back again and stay entertained.